I was working for a tech startup in New York City, and it just was like kind of soulless. You know, I didn't feel passionately about it, and I was recycling on the weekends. And then one day I was taking all of our recycling home from the office because I found out that they didn't truly put the paper into recycling bins, but the cleaning staff was putting it into the trash. So I used to take home these duffel bags of recycling, and I was walking down the subway stairs in Manhattan, and my heel caught the edge of the step, and I went tumbling, and I didn't have my hands to catch myself on the rails because they were filled with all this paper. And you know, the paper went flying, and it was very much like a Tweety Bird kind of scenario, and people were walking over me, and I ended up being laid up. I damaged my knee, and I was like, all right. This isn't working, you know? This is not working. I'm working 70 hours in a profession that I'm not passionate about, and over here, recycling isn't, it's part of it, but it's not gonna save the world. So I just took off and went to Ireland and ran a horse farm. What else would you do? But I really just needed to kind of clear out my head and get my hands dirty and say, how can I do this? How can I bring green and business together? And those two phrases were oxymoronic then. That was 2001. But I came back from Ireland, and thank God Google was now in the scene, and I just Googled enough, found that there was such a thing as an environmental management program with an MBA. And so I did that, and then just looked into a lot of different paths within green that finally led me here. And by the way, that is me and my horse. I right now live in Bozeman, Montana. I landed out there doing an ecotourism project and just fell in love with the mountains and possibly a fly fishing glide, and stayed. So the business actually stayed. He didn't. So especially as the money really started to run out, the only thing that kept us going was what we call Bite or Love. And Bite or Love is basically our subscribers would write in and say, oh my gosh, you know, you've changed my life, or whatever it was. And just when we wanted to throw in the towel, we'd get something that was so moving, realizing that we are truly affecting change and that people really did like what we were saying. We even built my dog into our story. This is just, you know, the lengths that we went. That's Cricket. Everybody say, oh. And there's Cricket's illustration. But you know, this was kind of a funny ego story because we've got a blog photo album, and you can basically get into the back end and see how many people are viewing it, etc. And I was doing that one day. I was like, Heather, bad news. She's like, what? Are we out of money again? And I'm like, no. Cricket's photo album gets more clicks than both of ours combined.
Can you share a little bit more of sort of grace under fire, as people were saying you're not green enough?
Yeah.
Or, you know, how'd you fight through that?
That's hard. I mean, it really is, because enough people tell you something, and then you're like, am I the dumb one, you know? So it was truly just, it was a balance of our convictions, like having uber amounts of kind of enthusiasm going into it, and each day, each week, it drains down, so you need a huge repository of it to start. And then countered with getting those the successes in there, right? Like the Bite or Loves, the people that are saying, I couldn't live without you now, you know? And then of course seeing traction against your business plan. We're like, you know what, this is working. You might hate me, I'm sorry, I can't be everything to everybody. Go read Greenpeace if that's your deal. I say that with all due respect, I really do.
This is very sad because I think we could go on for days asking questions, but one final question.
Actually, this is technically a question, Jen. I have been a subscriber of your Ideal Bite for quite some time.
A biter.
I'm also a vegetarian, and I wear leather.
Awesome.
I have found that when I've talked to people about my values and beliefs, it's a bit heavy.
Yes.
But thanks to your tips, when I push those across, they're a lot more receptive. So I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you.
I just got chill bumps, see? I love it. Thank you.